Welcome to Awake and Bake, an educational, high vibrational, mystical, spiritual show. I'm your host, Danny.
And I'm Kelsey.
And today we're going to be talking about birth control, PMS, PMDD, the menstrual cycle, spirituality, and how it plays into that, and everything under that umbrella. Let's get into it. This is a Smoke With Us episode. We're not worried about being demonetized because we don't make shit on YouTube anyway so far. So we decided to change location because so much is going on. If you hear shit in the background, just bear with us. Okay. Just be high and then it won't bother you as much.
Okay, so I wanted to start off kind of talking about my journey with birth control and how it's affected me since I was on it and now that I'm off of it. So I started my birth control journey when I was 15, when I lost my virginity. I'm incredibly grateful that at that time I had my mom, we had a very close relationship. I was able to talk to her and I was able to have her go to the doctor with me, talk things out with me as far as when you start this journey, there's hormonal, there's non-hormonal, there's IUDs, there's injections, and
you have to learn about your own cycle.
Right? And when you're 15, you don't know what all that is. And none of them are side effectless. There's not a birth control form that doesn't have side effects, a hormonal birth control form that doesn't have side effects. So I was on from 15 to 26, so 12 years about, because I got off last October. And on the pill, I had no real serious side effects, which I'm really, really grateful for.
Good.
And I do want to say, if you're in a relationship where you're having continuous sex with a person and you want to change your birth control or get off of it, make sure you have a conversation and are open about that, because when you are with someone,
communication is
fucking
important.
You can't just go off birth control and not tell somebody. But once I stopped, I definitely felt different. I think I felt more clear is the best way to put it. Like I said, I had no real side effects that I had known at the time. But then once I was done, I was like, oh, wow, I'm actually thinking more clearly. I can feel my body more clearly and my emotions are more clear. While they were stronger and more intense, it was more clear.
That makes sense.
I have no regrets for my time on birth control. I'm very happy that I made it through my teens without a baby. Can't lie about that.
Snaps for that.
But yeah, my life completely changed once I got it. Not only once I got off it, but once I got it out of my system. Because hormones, they stay for a while. It's not something that you can just stop taking the pill or get your IUD out and then you're done. It takes so long for your body to recenter itself and be its natural cycle, its natural function. And since I had been on birth control since 15, I, as an adult, had no idea what my natural feelings even were. I was so out of touch of what my body's natural hormonal cycle was that it was I was a new person once I stopped. So yeah, while my symptoms, especially of my period and my PMS, have gotten a lot more intense, the connection that I have between my mind, my body, my soul, all emotionally, physically, mentally, emotionally, all of that is so much stronger. And I think even though my cramps and stuff are more painful, I think that my clearer connection allows me to feel the pain differently in a healing way and know that it's my womb talking to me and it's my body doing its thing. It's not a bad thing that I'm having cramps. Having cramps is a beautiful, beautiful thing. It means that I'm able to do what my body needs to do.
I like that perspective.
Yeah.
I'm personally coming from a different perspective. I love that you said that's what it's great that you can experience that, because I do think to a certain degree feelings like that are meant to be felt, especially because if you're, so say you're, just having cramps, my notes are showing. So you're just having natural cramps, right? I do think that's a good time to listen to your body, acknowledge yes, I feel this, and also listen what is that trying to tell me? Because sometimes it is trying to tell you something. Sometimes it's ooh, I could use more sleep. I could use more vitamin D. Whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? I could use a walk. So I think it's important to listen to that as well and not just try to numb all of it with I want to say drugs in the way that I'm talking about pills, not weed, but okay, so I was watching Bria Jones' video, because if you don't follow Bria Jones, her it's Bria Jones on basically everything.
Awesome.
She's awesome. So she has PMDD. So do I. And I haven't seen a lot of people talk about having PMDD, honestly. And if you don't know what that is, that's PMS times a million.
Yeah, it's a
perimenstrual mood disorder. It's pre or post menstrual
perimenstrual, because it's surrounding. It's all things surrounding menstrual.
Yes. And then it's dysphoric.
Okay.
It's crazy. It's a lot. So I'm not an expert at all in PMDD. However, I do recommend, and I've not even read this book and I'm recommending it, but Bria Jones recommended the book Beyond the Pill. I'm going to order it. I was just waiting until we got paid. But yeah, I think PMS and PMDD, it's all different for everybody. And I do want to shout out, if you have PMDD or just like extreme PMS, like whatever your situation is, there are times, especially emergency situations, where I think birth control is incredibly helpful. But for me, and like for Bria, that was not a permanent solution for her. That was like a short-time solution for me as well. So I don't want to scare anybody, so I'm not going to tell you exactly what went wrong, but I've tried every form of birth control aside from the shot, and horrible, like literally almost ended my life. We'll just leave it at that. It didn't work for me, right? That sucks though, because I love the concept of birth control, and I'm a firm believer, and I'm really sorry to say this, you guys, but just affirming that your symptoms are going to get better, especially if you have PMDD, especially if your PMS is like really bad, just affirming that it's going to get better is not going to fix it. I'm so sorry to say that. You have to observe, and you have to also accept that different phases of your life, different ages, different stages, different levels of like weather and working out and what you're going through, what you're eating, that's all going to affect it. And you're just going to have to be able to observe and kind of adapt with it. And I just really recommend getting to know your body and like listening to it and like practicing, like, okay, so for me, ate pizza last night. No, I'm not supposed to do that. I know I'm not supposed to do that. But I was like, we're trying to save money. We have this frozen pizza. Like, we should just eat it because we have like a big move we have a big move coming up and all that good shit. But because I practice really listening to my body and doing things like, okay, if I notice a pattern every time I eat this, it fucks up my stomach, I try to not eat it. Last night I was reminded why I don't eat pizza, why I don't do dairy. Ugh.
That's the dairy for
unfortunately. But there are some things that genuinely have helped my PMS and have helped my PMDD and just have helped my spiritual journey as well. And that's what I'm going to share with you guys, my 4 special tips. My gym girlies are not going to like this one. I had to stop working out as much. I was working out 5 to 7 days a week, and I was also going hard. I was heavy weight training. Like, I was like, I'm thrusting 420 pounds. You can't do that. Y'all probably couldn't do that, but I shouldn't do that.
You shouldn't.
For me, I was just producing like a lot of testosterone, and I was kind of messing with my other hormones in weird ways, like as well. And what I found is when I stopped working out as much, like, and as intensely, my mental health got so much better. And I felt lied to. I felt robbed, because TikTok, Instagram, gym bros, they're all going to tell you like your mental health sucks because you're not in the gym. And then when I would be in the gym, I was like, it's kind of getting better. Like, I understand like the endorphins and all that, like that's real, that makes sense, but there's a line, there's a limit. And as a lady, as a feminine being with a menstrual cycle, for me that was too much. I also, like I said, I have PMDD, so like that could also be the case. Like, I'm sure it's like a per person basis, but I had to stop working out as much. That is my first tip. So my second tip is leave whatever unhealthy situation that you are in, because you might be in one. And I'm not saying you have to be like abused. I mean, you might have a shitty job, you might have a shitty roommate, you might have a shitty partner, but whatever shitty situation, like, just reevaluate and make sure that you are putting yourself in the healthiest situation for you. When I left the work life of hustle, if my schedule isn't packed from 4 a.m. to midnight, like, I'm worthless, like, that wasn't it for me. I'm not like weak for being more of like I can't really handle all that much and thrive. Yeah, so I had to just honestly leave whatever unhealthy situation I was in. I'm super grateful that I was in such a privileged situation where I was able to quit that job without having to worry about like, did I necessarily have one lined up, because I was married at that point. So my husband was able to help me with that, and that we didn't have a wake and bake at that time. But when I left that job, you guys, when I left that insane, you would think doggy daycare would like be awesome. We'll do a story time one day, maybe. It's pretty bad though. Yeah. And I had to leave it because it was just getting so hard, and I had been like trying for so long to make it a good situation when it wasn't, and it wasn't serving me, and it was actually affecting my reproductive system, my menstrual cycle. It was honestly really affecting my body and my PMDD and PMS. So get in a healthier situation.
I think our biggest mistake is that we so often try to make something work even though it's not working.
Yes, I think and your body will reject it. Like, your body will tell you when you're not happy and when you're not, even if it is like an unhealthy relationship, an unhealthy living situation, an unhealthy job. It doesn't matter what it is. Like, your body will reflect that.
Right, but society makes us be like, oh, we have to keep going.
And it doesn't mean you're not strong. If your body is telling you, I don't like this, what the fuck is it? Jesse, wake up, I don't like it.
Yeah.
That's not Jesse.
No. Someone wake up.
Chrissy.
What, Chrissy?
Number 3, you guys. just observe, like I said earlier. So for me, something that I have observed that I will share with y'all, this is how I knew when I went to my gynecologist and I was like, I think something's going on. Like, I don't know if you can help me or if I need to see like a mental doctor. Like, I don't know what's happening. And they were like, well, do you know about what day in your cycle that these issues start? And I was like, yes, day 11 on the dot.
On the dot.
On the dot. And if you think about that, damn, I don't get that much, 11 days into my cycle out of like, what, 30 fucking days, 28, 30 days. That's not a lot of time for sanity. That's a very minimal amount.
Danielle doesn't have a lot of sanity.
But because I've observed that, I'm now able to like work with that and help myself. And then also me and my doctor were able to like figure out like, okay, that sucks. That's not an awesome situation and that's not sustainable for living. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
there was, that was when we like decided like we should really put effort into like, how do I figure this out? And I wouldn't be able to do that if I wasn't observing like, what are my symptoms? When do they start? You know what I mean? Are they triggered? Is it a time situation? And it's day 11. It's day 11. Doing the shitty shadow work, the hard work, the emotional work, because it's not always physical, right? A lot of the time, if you're a PMDD bitch, it's a lot of the time mental and emotional. It makes you want to kill yourself sometimes. It triggers you about like trauma sometimes. And you're like, what the fuck? Shadow work is really, really helpful. So like, really be aware too, if it's an emotional issue, don't just ignore that and be like, got it, I'm emotional and I'm triggered. Work through it. Like, try to heal that. I've been doing it, and it's a crazy rewarding journey, but it is a lot on you, and it is going to show up physically. And yeah, all I can say is like, try to be as on top of it as you can, because the people in your life deserve also to like, you deserve to be the best you, and the people in your life deserve to have you at your best. You know what I mean? It's not selfish to be like, oh, I'm having these issues that I can't just fix with affirming on a piece of paper or with medication. Like, it is worth it to really, you owe it to yourself, you deserve it. And if you're someone who's like, no, I can't, like, no, then fine. It's selfish to not fix it. Like, everybody else deserves to have you at your best too. You're an amazing light. You can't shine it if you're really upset with your PMDD.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to get dark. I want this to be like a happy, light subject, but it gets dark. Like, this is something, like, it's not always a happy subject. And I feel like in spirituality, we're like, oh, no, like, as long as you're, like, in tune, like, you should not have any issues. And it's like, no, like,
you're
so
gonna
much
have issues. Life is issues.
Yes, exactly. And it's just about, like, not being hard on yourself and riding the wave and doing your best to, like, treat it while it's there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, ooh, fix the problem. Don't just treat it. Like really try to like get to like, because you deserve it. You're gonna feel like shit if you're not observing like the foods that you eat that make it worse, the situations you're putting yourself in that make it worse. Like, your job really might be affecting it. Your exercise schedule or lack of exercise schedule really might be affecting it. Just, it's so much bigger than you realize. And it's not as simple as like, I wrote down 100 times, I have clear skin, I don't have PMDD, I never have cramps.
No.
Yeah.
And I promise you, whatever works for Danny probably won't work for you. Or like whatever, you know, like,
exactly.
You got to figure out your own stuff. There's absolutely, I don't think anyone who menstruates in this world has the same cycle, has the same symptoms, has this, like, we're all unique. All of our hormones are so, people don't realize how important your hormones are and how unique they are to everyone. Like Danny was saying, when she works out, it's too much testosterone. Like, that sense, like, everything's a hormone. Everything causes hormones. Like,
and if you know you already have like a hormone imbalance, it makes perfect sense then that certain things that everybody else can do might not work for you. And it doesn't mean you're weak or a failure. You're actually smarter if you're able to listen to your body and take care of it and like honor it. You feel me?
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah.
Honor yourself.
Honor yourself. Stay high vibes.
Masturbate.